Do not fuck everything that moves.
Yeah.
Have a little bit of standards and more will come to you.
Do not kill the golden goose.
Don't fuck the golden
Yeah,
goose.
don't fuck the golden goose.
Women are much better wingmen than men. Hook, line, and sinker.
Hi, everyone. This is another episode of I Hate Dating Apps. I'm Daniel.
And I am Jinah.
All right.
And today we've got a very interesting, I would say atypical episode. We are usually deep diving into pain points of app dating and relationships in general and the problems with men and women. But today we're going to talk to a guest who is all about being a really good friend. He has a movement that he has started on being wingmen or wing women for other people. And of course, that goes right into dating because so many of us could use a wingman.
Man or a wing woman.
Yeah.
Super interesting. I mean, I think that's one of the lost arts in modern age, right? Because I remember, as a young man having a wingman.
You're lucky.
You need that friend, right? It's like, it's also to bounce, like you want somebody to vouch for you. You want somebody to be there to support you, to move through it, men or women, right? So I think it's a great idea.
To me though, like sometimes, right? Like girls usually don't go to like bars or restaurants or IRL events on our own. And then, but instead of being a wing woman, like girls kind of fall into the trap of being so like talking to themselves and talking amongst themselves and being so cliquey that men feel very intimidated to approach them because they're being too like friendly. So I think the definition of a wingman is something that we want to try to like get straight here and what we can all do to help the friends in our lives that are struggling in relationships or even getting to first base with how we can be their best friend, especially if we know that that's not a person that maybe we're going to be set up with, but we definitely think that they would jive with our friends. But anyway, we can talk about this all we want, but let's bring in the expert on this topic. Hunter, please introduce yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you, Jinah and Daniel, for having me on. Pleasure to be here. My name is Hunter. I'm the founder of Wingman of the Year, and I'm also known as the Wingman of the Year. So you'll hear people call me that.
Nice.
Wingman of the Year, it's a digital media company, and we specialize in dating shows, if you couldn't tell by the name. So yeah, it's been a long journey, but come a long way doing content and whatnot, but really dialed in on the dating stuff now and helping other people and being their wingman.
Now, when you say dating shows, we think of old-timey, what is that? The Newlywed Show. There was a dating show. It was literally called The Dating Show.
The dating show, where you had Bachelor 1, Bachelor 2.
Yeah, Bachelor 1.
Or you switch it to be either one woman with 3 mystery men or one man with 3 mystery women, yeah.
Well, and now we have The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, The Golden Bachelor, Love is Blind, Love Island, right?
Yep.
There's all kinds of things like that. Yeah. So what's yours?
So yeah, people must like dating shows. You just named off like 20 of them, and there's
and there's more. Like that's just
they're always dating shows. They're always the top thing. It's number one on Netflix every time a new season comes out. Love is Blind, stuff like that. But so my brand is Wingman of the Year. We have a couple different dating shows under that umbrella. So our main one is Wingman of the Year Live. Very creative, I know, but it is a live dating show. So where we either get 1 bachelor and 3 bachelorettes or vice versa. And we try to wingman for the person on stage. But also the kicker of that show is everybody in the audience, it's an interactive dating show. So the audience helps wingman for the people on stage and tries to help the one isolated person, tries to find them the perfect match on stage out of the other contestants. So it's very interactive, and the contestants also bring a wingman to pitch them. So it's the whole show is about being a wingman. And
dude, this is what it's come down to. It takes a village.
It takes a village.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
Get that one dude.
Daniel gets it.
You know why dating shows are so popular? I just thought of this. It's because everybody loves watching a train wreck, right? So,
That could be
but
part of it.
I'm sure Hunter's show is different though. But I like the idea. The wingman part or the wingwoman part is the key part, right? Because I think,
That's what makes us unique. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, and it's also the help. And I mean, we're joking about it takes a village, but I think everybody really needs help nowadays, right?
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were just talking on another episode about how for the first time in history, we're approaching almost 50% of all Americans are single.
What are
And
the
that's
averages usually?
the average was usually hovering around 20%, you know,
Wow.
throughout most of history, right? Because, well, first of all, back in the day, you got married in your 20s and then you
That's true.
immediately
Even
started
younger than
having
that.
kids
Yeah,
or
yeah,
even
yeah.
younger and then you popped out kids and then you just didn't get divorced because that was just not common and you married your high school
Makes
sweetheart,
sense.
but now people are more single than ever. So yeah, there's got to be different modalities, and it does take a village to come up with a creative concept for how we're going to get somebody hitched. And even after you get them hitched, of course, there's no guarantees in life because we're all human, and somehow we're might end up single again. But what is your approach, and how did you come up with it, and how does it work?
Well, first of all, I wish I knew that stat. I could have pitched that to some investors and whatnot. The 50% of people are single. I'm going to have to steal that because I'm getting into the business at the
Yeah, it
exact
was like
right time.
46% or something and growing.
And growing.
Wow.
Yeah.
People need me. Wow. Okay. So what was the question? How did I get into this? Essentially.
Yeah, and what is it? What do you do and
Yeah.
why?
So yeah, let's start from the beginning. I'll give you the quick synopsis so we could talk more about dating here. But wingman of the year, it's all about being a wingman, obviously, right? So I think being a wingman means being a good person and more importantly, just being a good friend. A lot of people tell me what you guys think. I'm interested to know your thoughts. What do you think of when you think of a wingman? Like, paint a picture for me real quick.
I think somebody who's going up to a gal at a bar
Mhm.
on behalf of his friend and sussing her out so that he could push that friend on her.
Yeah, that's the typical sense. I like to just say a bar scene and, where people are talking because that's why people go to bars usually, right? They're usually single trying to meet people. But I think a wingman is a broader term. So, but the dating is what, people are most interested in, right? That's where people need the most help, right? So, wingman of the year, way back in 2011, I was the wingman of the year 2011 unofficially. Um, my friend, I hooked him up at a party with a girl. I really just gave him the confidence. I'm like, dude, go talk to her. I said, do some sit ups quick. He got on the ground at a party on the dirty ass floor and did like 20 sit ups. I'm like, your abs are good to go now, man. Go talk to her. It sounds really stupid. It sounds really stupid. And
It's
he ended
really
up
bizarre.
talking to her. And then, you know, just fast forward, the party got busted, and then they ran out into a field and ended up hooking up in the field after the party. So it's all about timing. Come Monday in school, he comes up to me first period English class. He's like, Hunter, you're the wingman of the year, and he tells me what happened. So it's all just like this friendship type stuff. And when I was coming up with the business, I just wanted to start a business. I see people making money on YouTube, making content. I'm like, I want to make content. How can I do it? What do I love? I'm like, I just want to hang out with my friends. So that's really how I started the business. And I thought of like a really good moment between me and my friend, named the business Wingman of the Year. And then that's evolved in all sorts of different things I never even saw coming. But there's actually a Wingman of the Year award. So literally, we just highlight people being good people and nominate them. Hey, that's a wingman thing to do. Stuff like that. A lot of it comes back to dating, though. And it's
Mhm.
evolved over really the past 6 months. We've just started getting into the dating shows. And now we're trying to really push them out a lot more and be more consistent with them. So that's how we got here.
That's a very modern time, like entrepreneurial story, right?
Yeah, not your typical
From a
business.
content perspective. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, my idea of a wingman is kind of what Jinah said because when I was growing up, that the wingman was, it comes from a military reference, right? The wingman and
Hmm.
at Air Force, the guy who has your wing, who's supposed to deflect, when fire comes. And so, in a dating sense, it's somebody who, because if you go solo, it's a lot harder.
Mhm.
So
It
if you have
is.
somebody who can talk you up, who can laugh at your jokes, right? It's like, oh, or who can also like make it a little less obvious that you're going after that person asking her out, because if you have a wingman, it's just people talking. If you go solo, approach a group of women, then it's very clear that you're trying to like pick them up,
Yeah.
right? And then you might come across creepy and stuff. So wingman has all kinds of views, but I think what Hunter is saying is kind of unique, is that he's talking about, not, it's often used in the context of dating or helping somebody in a dating situation, but he's talking about somebody who's stepping up to the plate and helping a friend, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and nailed it right there. Military term too. The top wingman that you like search wingman, you're gonna
Right.
get a Top Gun scene. It's the
Right.
end.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, you could be my
That's true.
wingman
Yeah.
anytime. You know,
Yeah.
and so there's a lot of stuff like that. So I'm just trying to promote positivity really, and I'd like to do that a lot through the dating scene because I think a lot of people are negative about it, and that's why we're here. And I think having a wingman might be able to help a little bit with
Well, but
dating.
a lot of people, so Hunter, everybody wants a wingman,
Yeah,
kind of like everybody wants to find love, kind of like everybody
everybody
wants to
does.
have money. Like it's a given, but most people don't have one. I mean, like I do, Daniel does. Like, I would say the extroverts of the world probably
Hmm.
have wingmen. It's easier for them because they have friends, they're connected, right? They're good at developing relationships. But I would say to you that probably most of the people on the dating apps, and maybe even most people on the dating scene,
Hmm.
right? Because now we're talking about almost half of the population, don't. So how do you become a wingman or tell people that wingmen are important and be a wingman if most people probably on the dating scene don't even have one and don't know how to get one?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So, I think men are more often than not the problem in dating. Okay,
Mhm.
because they
Oh,
need
amen.
confidence.
We're done, Hunter.
No,
Thank
no,
you.
no, no. And I'm
Alrighty.
not even
Bye-bye.
just saying that
Here we
to
go. I'm
tell
gonna
you
pull
what you
up
want
my
to hear.
sleeves now. Come on.
But everything all comes down to effort, right? That is the biggest thing when it comes to dating, and I think men lost that. So, and you can.
Yes, lazy men who do not put any effort. Yes,
I'm gonna do
nailed
a deep
that.
dive on this, but so let's get back to the wingman part, right? So when you're usually talking, you were kind of talking about guys, right? Like they probably don't have a wingman. Like women usually do. Women have
Women usually
options.
do. Right.
Women have options. Men don't always have options. So let's break this down. Let's say girls post more on Instagram and stuff, right? They're posting more
Yeah.
photos.
We're social. We're more social. Yeah.
Who's in the comments? A lot of their girlfriends, right? They're like, "Oh, you look so beautiful." They're gassing them up. Guys don't have anything like that. First of all, because we're too insecure to post. We don't know what the other guys are going to think or what the girls are going to think because nobody taught us
Mm.
that. Girls grow up learning how to do their makeup. Guys don't talk to each other like that or help each other. It's not very wingman like out there. It's like, hey, they see a girl, everyone wants her. So we're competing against each other, and that's the problem. And girls, I think we get into. I have this very hot take. I don't even actually think it's a hot take. I think it's true. I think 10% of guys are dating 90% of the women
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
those
Oh, no, no, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yes,
because
yes.
10% of the guys have figured it out because
Yep.
they put that effort in to better themselves. So I think a lot of this before a wingman even comes along. I mean, you can have a wingman along the way, like, hey, dude, like even like I could be like, Daniel, hey man, you got something in your teeth right now. That'd be a wingman thing to say. So like it's the simplest thing to be a wingman, but we really just need to tell each other how we can get better. And more importantly, everybody needs to be self-aware when it comes to dating.
Oh,
I
hell yeah.
if you look, you could look at pictures of me, old videos of me from like the Wingman of the Year YouTube, Instagram, or whatever. I've worked on myself above all. That way, people could see my progress, and now I could talk on these things. My dating life has increased like crazy. Like I can't even believe where I'm at now, and like the girls I can talk to, or the girl I'm dating right now. Wouldn't I would if I would trade it all in if I 3 years ago I was like, yeah, dude, you're gonna be there. And I know there's still another level to this. I'm still growing on the path to
Well,
success.
so what did you do? How did you better yourself, and how did you realize that's what you needed to do?
Quite simply, I took all the feedback I got. It wasn't a good-looking guy. I didn't do anything with my hair. This would be my hair right now. I don't know if you think it's looking good or whatnot. It would be like down here to my eyebrows. I wouldn't do anything. And I had a friend be like, "Dude, why don't you like do something with your hair? You're making your barber look bad." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I've never done that before." I'm like, "It looks stupid." I did it. Next thing you know, I'm like, I got like a couple girls that like we were out with a bar friend group, just like girls that are friends. They're like, Hunter, I like your hair like that. So you slowly get confidence. So what people need to do is slowly get wins, and that confidence grows, and then you'll see what works for you. So I wrote down everything that I was insecure about, like, and I
Mhm.
relearned everything. I'm like, what do girls want? Like, I'm trying to think of everything. Like, I've like studied the stupidest things. Like, am I shampooing my hair the right way? Am I brushing my teeth the right way? How often should I floss? How often should I work out? How often should I change my bed sheets? Guys, change your bed sheets
Oh,
often.
don't even go there. Oh my god, I know. They don't smell themselves.
Well, and this varies at levels for guys. A lot of guys think they know everything. Girls, I'm sure they do too. But some guys don't even put on deodorant. They just need to be told that, like, hey,
Oof.
they think it's like cool, like, yeah, I don't put on or something like that. There's
Yeah,
just
a lot of
simple
girls I
things.
know don't either, but they happen to fall into kinda like, granola camp, so, yeah.
But
Granola can.
so step one is have some self awareness. It's
Yes.
really hard. It really is. Everybody, I'm not the most self aware in the world. I think I'm pretty self aware though. I'm like, hey, like, Hunter, your teeth aren't straight. Get some like Invisalign or something. Yes, it's
Yeah,
an investment, but I started working on my wardrobe, stuff like that. Like wearing cologne. I never used to wear a watch. I would never wear sunglasses because I thought it would look like I'm trying to look cool, and I cared too much about what other people thought. But here we are. I did all those changes. I'm still working on some things, working on my business. I just want to be a successful man and help other people. But I think guys just need to simply break it down and see what they can work on. And then, hey, go to the bar with your friend. Um, and the important thing with being a wingman is if you're not like, they always say when you're not looking is when you like find somebody, right? Just go out. I'm telling you, try it. Just like, hey, you're going out with so let's say me and Daniel are going out and I'm not looking for me. I'm helping Daniel or whatever. If you're single, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna help Daniel tonight. I'm taking a step back. I help Daniel, and I know maybe that girl's friend is like into me, or it just somehow works out that way. I'm telling you, it always comes back to you. Being a wingman's like karma.
Okay, okay, I have so many things I
Whatever
want
direction
to
you want to
say about
go.
that. Well, so, okay, there's gonna be a camp that's gonna listen to this and say, "I don't wanna change for someone because I'm losing my authenticity." There are people who, like, don't take the practical
Hmm.
approach to this. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you're saying I need to change who I am. Well, that's not me. They can like me for who I am. They can take me as I am or don't take me at all." But then, of course, I'd say to them, "How's that working out for you?"
Survival of the fittest. This is what evolution is, right? What do
But
you
it's also
think?
but it's also perspective, right? I mean, it's like you should change your sheets no matter what. If
A
it's
lot of
like,
people don't know that
oh,
though.
that's who I am. I just want to be stinky and dirty. It's like, I think it depends on your perspective. It's not that you are trying to mold yourself to try and please somebody else or attract the opposite sex or the same sex, depending on what your orientation is. It's more about improving yourself, being the
Hmm.
best version of yourself, I think. So if you look at it from that perspective, then yeah, I mean, if a wingman is somebody who says to you, say, hey, you know what? I'm not saying do it, but I think your
Exactly.
hair, like if you got a different haircut, you look a lot better. Hey, if you dress yourself this way, hey, who shouldn't? Everybody should work out. Everybody should exercise because it's good for your health. Not because that girl is gonna like you better if you exercise, right? But then the side benefit of it though is that yes, you are going to be more attractive to the opposite sex. You're
I
going to be
mean,
attracted to other
girls
people.
girls are some of the biggest, uh, what do you call it? Not a criminal, but the person who actually, does this. Women will say, "Oh, no, he better like my size, because big women, bold women, whatever, and he better like my sass," or, "He better not even ask me to cook." And sure, you can have that attitude, but, ultimately, they are not looking for that. They're not looking for the heaviest guy in the room, you know? They're not
True.
looking for somebody who brings all kinds of attitude and sass.
And here's the thing. I'll stop you there. This is where I think men are the problem. I don't know when we got away from this. I don't care. Men need to win the women over. If you look at any animals in the animal kingdom, you look at peacocks or whatever, it's the male peacock that like does his little dance and thing. Insects do it. It's always the male that has to chase the female, and the female decides. Dating is no different than going to a job interview. You're competing against 10 other guys. You need to stand out. If you want that girl, how are you going to get her attention? It's like anything. It's like if you were playing a college sport, how are you going to get that scholarship? You need to stand out. I know more on the guy side, obviously, but like guys don't post any photos. How are the girls, like supposed to tell the difference? You got this dumb bio. This is why dating apps do suck. This is why they
Yeah.
do suck.
Yeah. This is why 90% of the men don't get anybody.
Exactly. But so they got to market themselves. And I'll tell you what, I started hosting dating shows, Jinah. Wow, I got something about me now. I'm different. I got my own business, like he's like, oh, he like wears a suit now. And it's like, okay, like let me at least talk to this guy. And that's the important part. Anybody in dating, just get your foot in the door. That's all you need to do. And then, if you can make the girl feel comfortable, this is for guys. You get your foot in the door, you make the girl feel comfortable, you get your flirt on, you're okay. You just lessen the competition. There might be one or two other guys you're competing against. But if you don't get your foot in that door, you're competing against thousands.
And then you build from there.
Here's the limitation about comparing ourselves to sort of our animal self, right? It's true. You look at nature, the male is always the one chasing the female.
Yeah.
But it's also true that in nature, a male has several mates in a lot of the species. Okay. So if you're going to start, part of the reason why I want to be the peacock is because I get to screw as many chicks as I want. Mm-hmm. You're not going to do that in our life.
All right, Daniel.
Yeah,
or you will. I mean, if you're Wilt Chamberlain.
I mean, the drive is there. But here's a limitation of, I understand what Hunter's saying. We evolved from animals. So there's still sort of the lingering animal side of us. It's in our DNA. But we're also evolving as beings, right? So we are also trying to shed our sort of animal tendencies. And I think we're at an inflection point in the evolution of mankind, if you will. I think to what Hunter's saying, for the most part, men are still the ones who have to pursue the women. I don't care that the world is changing. Yes, it's changing on the peripheries, but at the core, at the center, that's still true. Men have to chase the women. And if you're not going to put in the effort, dude, you are not going to make it. Women are not going to like you if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't exercise, if you don't look good. It's like, marketing. The same is true of women, though. Now, men had to market their desirability in the way that I am the strongest, I can provide, I can protect, etc. And women had to be attractive, had to be desirable to the men, and men, pursued. And women had to pick. Here's where that fails, though. In modern age, though, women now have been told every woman is beautiful. Every woman is so every woman, 100% of women feel that they're entitled to pick, right?
I don't know about 100%.
Yeah, but not to your point. Like when you're saying, but that's where the contrast. That's where the conflict happens, because in the old form, that's the old world order was men pursue the women, and women had to be beautiful and had to be pretty, and then it all kind of worked. But now we evolved where women also had more options. And to your point, when women say, "Well, the guy's got to be this," but they don't look at themselves, right? And men, the flip side of that is a lot of men, and again, we're speaking very broad strokes. The men that Hunter is saying have stopped trying are the men who go, "Why the fuck should I try? The women aren't trying.
They fully quit."
Yeah, so it sort of goes both ways, because women are like, the man's got to do this, the man's got to do this. Like, well, what are you doing? The man is like, well, you're not doing anything. I'm supposed to do everything that men were supposed to do before, but women are not doing the same thing. So why should I try so hard?
There's so many women and men that have just quit.
Yeah, have just quit.
They have just gotten out of the race.
Right.
They're tired.
And thus Wingman.
We need to get these people back in the game. But yeah, a lot of people have just simply given up, and I think that's why we're seeing that that 50% mark you were talking about. Yeah, there's a lot of problems with the dating game right now.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. Our sponsor, Take My Face Off, makes swiping off your makeup just as easy as swiping past a bad profile. Seriously, the Midi from Take My Face Off is this adorable facial mitt that makes skin cleansing faster, easier, and more thorough than any other method I've tried. I seriously love this product. Next time you're tempted to grab a face wipe, use a Midi instead. It's just as fast, but it's better for your skin and the planet. Get free shipping with the discount code DATING at takemyfaceoff.com.
I admire you for trying to change it up by bringing it to real life, by making what's already kind of like a game, which is swiping, into a real life kind of activity where people are also entertained and they get to feel good about helping other people. But, I really think if a guy is out there or, a woman is out there going, wow, what am I not doing that is not getting me anywhere? They just need to look at the guys that are getting the girls. What are they doing?
Exactly. We do that and then everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, I feel cheap when I have to change who I am. They don't need to look at it like that. They need to see who's
Well,
getting what and
but
how do I get that?
but there's also this though. Some things you can't change, right? So if the 10% of the guys who are getting 90% of the women are all over 6 foot tall, have six pack abs, have a great paying
But they
job.
don't.
No, but what I'm saying is that the perception is that. So the 90% of men who have given up. So I think the message that they're getting is there's no point in even trying because I cannot attain that metric. And a lot of it's dating, going back to dating apps. A lot of women put in dating apps because again, we've said this before. In dating apps, men advertise themselves as what they have to offer,
Yeah.
and women advertise what they want in a man. And a
Mm.
lot of women say he has to be tall, dark, and handsome, has to have a great job. And a lot of we had this joke about the Uber driver who couldn't get a date until he said he was a CEO of his company, right? And
Yeah.
men have to lie. So what a lot of men are resorting to, instead of working on themselves, they're resorting to lying because in the dating apps, that's how they get the matches. So I think again, it's not as simple as men, the ones who are not trying. Look at the men who are successful. Just look up to them and try, do what they're doing. It's not as simple as that because
Of course, it's not as simple as that. It's totally nuanced. You're not going to be 6 feet if you're 5'5".
Right.
You're just not. If you
And
don't,
you would never. Would you date somebody who? Oh, well, we had. You're not.
yeah,
You're not
I
a
don't care
height.
about
You're not
height.
a
Yeah,
heightist.
I dated a guy who
You're
was
not a high
5'1".
You're not a high supremacist.
But yeah, I'm just saying, read between the lines. You don't have to. You know what? I have to say, if you're like, oh yeah, well, yeah, Hunter's getting all the dates, but I can never be like him because I'm not this tall. I don't make that much money. I don't have that kind of haircut, and I'm not going to change who I am. You've just put yourself out of the game, and maybe I hate to sound so cruel, but natural selection, dude. If you're going to be that
It's
negative about
true.
it and you can't get creative about how you're going to get back in the game, you shouldn't be in the game to
And
begin
it
with.
makes sense. Can we agree that women like ambitious guys, right? And guys that
100%.
I think
Who
that's
the
the number
fuck
one
ever
thing.
told you I want a couch potato? I want somebody who is
The
mediocre.
only way a girl would want a couch potato is if she's also very insecure and doesn't want him doing anything else and she's had a lot of bad relationships. That might be the only
That's true.
time. I think an important thing is we have to realize this goes for everybody, guys and girls here. They're not everybody's gonna like you. Like
Nope.
maybe like an emo girl might not like me. You know what I mean? I might be too like outgoing and talkative, right? I'm not for everybody. And full disclosure, we're talking about the height supremacy. I am 6'4", so I might have that working for me, right? But a lot
Yep.
of people don't know that because they haven't seen me in person and whatnot. But you got to play to your strengths regardless. Like I think we talked offline about this a little bit before too, Jinah. I'm not a pickup artist. Even though I'm 6'4", I'm not. I can talk pretty well. I'm not good at picking up chicks in the bar. I do best when I'm not trying to pick up chicks, and then they just, it's just like, oh, just when you're not really looking, it's like, oh wait, there might be something here. We were just having regular conversation. Like, wait, does she like me? Like, okay, let's like buy her drink. Almost not trying might actually work better for some people. But
Well, and
also,
see, that's actually a very smart thing. When you're a wingman, the pressure is off. right? You're like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not the
Keep
one
it
who's
chill.
trying to,
Yeah.
I'm the one who's
Yeah.
chill, no fear in going up to a girl because it's not for you. But sometimes that's probably the
And you
best way to
seem
meet a girl.
confident when you're like, all right, it's not for me. I can go up. I'm with my buddies. I got a confidence boost. I just had a couple beers. I'm like, hey, my buddy thinks you're really cute.
And
Something
then
like that.
now they're like, "Oh, but what about you?" Yeah, because you're bringing all the confidence. You're bringing that
Just start
approachability.
conversation without expectations. That is the best way to do it in a bar. If you're by the touch tunes, go up to that. There's a group of girls next to you. Like, what song you guys want to hear? Say something like that.
Yeah.
There
Harmless.
you go.
I got an idea. Hunter, I think you should flip it. And then if you're trying to help somebody, have that person be your wingman and that person will get the dates.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
I
there you
like that.
go.
Do it a little switcheroo.
Wait,
Yeah.
so whether you have a wingman or not, or a wingwoman, what's the message you want to put out there to all the people who are just like, dating apps?
Just be self-aware, just be more open and perceptive to things. I think we got to be more, it's 2024. We got to be more open to things. We just talked about evolution and whatnot. Everybody deserves love. Literally everybody. There's 8 billion people out here. The only problem in today's dating, well, there's a lot, but the main there's so much competition. Everybody has
Yeah.
options. Everybody's insecure now because like even the most beautiful women in the world are insecure and
Yes.
they have no reason to be. And a big thing you asked me about, like trends I'm seeing a lot of guys psych themselves out when they gonna start dating a beautiful woman. It almost happened to me. Me and the girl I'm dating now, all her friends were like, you could do better than him, because I'm like ugly or something. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But she's the
well,
pretty girl and everybody's like, you could, but all the guys just wanted to bang her.
whatever. That's not a
So
good
they're just
friend.
saying whatever. But I'm
Sorry
like,
that they
hey,
said
I'm
that.
still
Yeah.
here. But I hear this from a lot of girls, the contestants coming on my show. I was like, when was the last time you dated somebody? I was dating this guy and then he just ghosted me. I'm like, you got ghosted?
Oh yeah. Oh, it happens. Yep.
But I'm like, these beautiful, beautiful women. And I'm like, how? And then the guys hit him up 3 weeks later, like, hey, I got in my head. We need more confidence. And this is
Yeah.
guys and girls, but it's because of social media probably. And we're comparing ourselves to other people. Like I am over here saying, like, hey, yes, look at other people, see what they're doing well. Steal like an artist. Like, oh, I like that what that guy's doing to his hair. I'm gonna try that. Or like, oh, I like that shirt. I'm gonna, you know, Google Lens that and get that. But we need to boost our confidence, I think, is the main thing. Find a wingman. And I'll tell you what, wingmen could come in many different shapes and sizes.
Mm-hmm.
I say, and I'm speaking to the guys on this one. Best thing you can do if you have a girl that's a friend, I recommend getting girls that are friends. Can I swear on here?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
We encourage it.
Guys, listen to me. If you get girlfriends, like I don't care if they're from like work or whatever, don't try to fuck them. I
Yes.
guarantee you more girls will come from you because if you have a girl that's a friend and she's comfortable around you, she's gonna talk you up to everybody. She's gonna be like, "Oh, he's so cute." Blah, blah, blah. She's gonna try to wingman for you, and
Yep.
you'll have 10 times more girls. Do not fuck everything that moves.
Yeah.
Have a little bit of standards, and more will come to you.
Do not kill the golden goose.
Don't fuck the golden
Yeah,
goose.
don't fuck
Yeah.
the golden goose.
Women are much better wingmen than men. Hook, line, and
That's true.
sinker.
Absolutely.
Because they're not as selfish as guys.
You know what? You should get in the business of partnering men with female wingmen,
Ooh.
Because that also takes the pressure off, right? Like,
Right.
hey, I want to go to the bar. You want to go to the bar. We don't know each
Jinah,
other.
it's tough. It's so tough though. Guys are so freaking horny. It's like
Oh, so they'll try to fuck their wingman.
they
Their
will.
wingwoman.
I make girls feel very comfortable. Like I don't. If you have anything to do with my business, I'm not talking to you in a sexual flirting manner. Nope. You need to be 3 degrees away at least for me to even
Mhm.
like want to pursue you. But I hear the stories. They're like, yeah, this guy added me and tried DMing me. I'm like, he did that? Like, what the hell's he doing? Like
Oh
behind,
yeah.
like, not that it's behind my back, like I'm dating the girl, but I'm like, they just come off too freaking horny, and I hear it on multiple instances. It's crazy. They shoot themselves in the foot.
Well, they start with dick pics.
I never
dating
understood
apps.
that.
Well, maybe it's the whole like culture of instant gratification, right? So it's like
Well,
it's
it's just they're behind a
exacerbated.
screen, right? They're behind
Yeah.
a screen, so they're like dick pic, dick pic, dick.
No. I'm saying
Stuff
like
they wouldn't do in person.
I mean, look, men are horny period. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
really
Women are too, though, but they could behave
women are
themselves.
horny too, but I think the idea that men sort of, I mean, the stereotype is that yes, men and women are horny, but the fact that men are, out there trying to fuck everything that moves, that stereotype, right, happens to be generally true because of societal, expectations and stuff, whatever. Like, we can spend an hour on that. But what I'm saying is, I think this idea of instant gratification, because we live in a society where people now expect instant gratification. I think it happens even more often now. If you look at the fact that Tinder is all about one night hookups, right?
Well, it used to be. It's changed now.
Right.
But
But
yeah.
there's a lot of there's the hookup culture, I think, is a lot more predominant now than it was in the past, because people are looking for that quick satisfaction rather than a more of meaningful long-term, thing.
I mean, that's true, but also I think people are just like, I am clearly not going to win at this relationship game. Let me at least get something out of it. Let me at least get a hookup. I think there's also that too, where I think most people want a meaningful
Yeah.
relationship. I think humanity,
Mhm.
like craves it.
I think I hear it more that, so I hear it more from women who's sort of given up, right, to your point,
Yeah.
and they say, I have stopped looking for Mr. Right, and I'm just looking for Mr. Right now.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
and then men too.
Yeah. No, but I think for
Men
men,
want
actually,
Miss
Men
Right
know
now.
what the
no,
standard
man
is
is
for
like, this
them.
is great. I can have sex. I can just, fuck a woman for the night, and I don't have to worry about any strings attached. Like, men actually, a lot of men have welcomed that, for better or for worse,
But
right?
ultimately, they
Yeah.
still want relationships.
I think
I
men
think
do.
as human beings, we want
No?
relationships. Yeah.
Oh.
Some men know. I know me. Maybe Daniel, you could speak or whatever about it. But sometimes there's girls that guys will see like I'd marry her right away. Like you could know instantly if you would date the girl, and you would know if you just want to fuck her. We might not admit it to you right away, but it's
Yeah.
kind of tough.
No,
Yeah.
But
I'm not going to say anything because I don't want the hate mail. But
let it come
look,
over
I
here.
know, no, I know a lot of men, my age, older men, who have gone through a couple of marriages, and they don't want, like, their mentality is like, I don't want a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
I just want to fuck a string of women, and preferably young women, for the rest of my life, for as long as I can afford it. I know men like that. Now, I
Ugh.
think there's a mentality that makes that convenient, makes that as something that you would aspire to. I personally think that men or women, ultimately, we are all on this planet because we are trying to connect with other human beings. And I think we
Yeah.
all want relationships. We all
Mhm.
want somebody to love and to be loved
Mm-hmm.
as human beings. But genetically, and because of our animal parts, there are certain things that are ingrained in us. And look, men, and I'll admit this too, like, the drive to try and fuck everything that moves is a lot stronger on men than it is on women.
I know
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
it's a matter of how much you give into that, and how much you don't. And I think women have tendencies, genetically, that are a burden on women as well. So we are all struggling with sort of tendencies, but also trying to be a better version of ourselves. And that's always a constant struggle, right?
Hence, wingmen.
Yeah. Hence Wingman. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really
Here
like
I
the idea
am.
of Wingman, though. I think because it is about supporting and trying to, man or woman, trying to help that person be the best version of themselves. And I think speaking a little earlier about dating apps, I think it does become a popularity context, right? Because at the end of the day, you're not trying to, like, you're trying to get more matches because mathematically you think the more matches you have, the better chance that you have of meeting someone. But you don't really need 1,000 matches if you can just find that one perfect person for you,
Mm.
right? So it's
Yeah,
mathematically
you
speaking,
only need one.
you only need one,
So
right?
I want to share something. So we're doing the way we cast. We actually use dating apps because what way would it? Where are all the single people at, right? That I
Right,
could find
exactly.
them at mass scale without running ads. So I have a girl that does the casting through her profile. So it's her. She's verified, and then I do it through me. So I get the girls, and she
Hmm.
gets the guys. We just got her a Tinder profile. This makes me sick. I had mine for like 2 months, so we just brought her on board. Yeah, I got like 200 likes in like 2 or 3 months. She had it in 24 hours. You know how many swipe rights she had on her?
900.
2,800.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Doesn't
it's
surprise me.
and
Yeah,
you got and when you look, that made me think. I'm like, wow, this really is
that's the math.
marketing. There's not a chance a guy can stand out on there. Your chances are so low, and a
Yep.
woman trying to. So
Yeah,
It's really
And
I
you
know.
yeah, and you put your height in there, right, in your profile.
no, I literally have it. I'm like, I don't want to date you. Like, I want to
Yeah.
find you your next boyfriend or husband or something. Like, if you're interested in being on a dating show, you got a good personality, swipe right. And that actually, so it makes them less fearful of me. And like, I'm not a creep. They're like, okay, he doesn't want to try to fuck me. Girls love that. I'm telling you, make a girl feel comfortable. That is going to be your best option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, 200's a high number for a guy, actually, Hunter.
In 2 months.
I have a lot of guy friends who, are shocked if they get 5 a week, you know? So, yeah, it's totally imbalanced.
I mean, guys are swiping like crazy, right? Because they have no options. Girls have options. They're just more
Yeah.
selective. There's a lot of issues here, but I think it all stems from insecurity and whatnot, the dating problems. Because when somebody, let's say people are dating, right? Because we talked about it, might not go the distance all the time, right? So why aren't they going the distance? It's all insecurity. And when
100%.
I think when the going gets tough, you're like, you know what? Maybe this other guy will treat me better. Girls and guys
And
are guilty
that's
of it.
oh my god, that is the inherent problem with dating apps. People just don't wanna
Mhm.
stick with the good thing because they're always like, "Oh, there's a
You
thousand
can
other
do better,
guys."
And
yeah.
they all put up their best front at the
Right.
beginning,
Yep,
you know?
yep.
Well, it goes into that competition thing, like you were saying earlier that you were dating this girl and her friends are like, "Oh, you can do better." Like, what the fuck does that even mean? You can do better, right?
Nobody knows, I pursued her for 4 months before, like, anything ever happened. I was persistent. I actually used my own platform. This is a Wigman story right here. I just told it at our Valentine's Day show. So I met her a year ago from this last Valentine's Day, our first date. It was Valentine's Day, and we went out 2 days later, but I'm like, "Hey, everyone's always asking me, like, Hunter, does anyone ever wingman for you? You're always wingmaning for people." So I'm like, I'm gonna shoot my shot, guys. I'm like, if you want a wingman for me, DM me, and I'm gonna send you this girl's Instagram handle, and I need you to DM her and wingman for me. Just talk me up, do whatever you got to do, be creative. So
Mhm.
Ah.
I had 15 people do it, and I was talking to her a little bit before. She was liking some of my stories, but it wasn't going anywhere. I needed a wingman to really crack that fucking door open. So I had to prove a point, and I used my platform because she knew Wingman of the Year and whatnot, and the brand. So 15 people DM'd her saying like some actual like good things that were real, like, oh, he's a great guy, really ambitious. Some people were like, oh, he saved my grandma from a burning building. I
Yeah.
had my best friend's wife send a PowerPoint.
No,
Wow,
she
nice.
didn't.
And I had my dating, I had my bachelor on my February dating show on Valentine's Day. So it came full circle. It was exactly a year to the date. He wingman for me a year ago, and then I got the wingman for him. I brought him 4 beautiful bachelorettes, so I paid it back. He paid it forward, and we ended up hooking him up. But he sent a 2-minute long video. It was kind of cringe, but it was really freaking funny. And I played it at the show, and she's like, "I love it." And like, no guy's ever done that for her. Like a lot of guys will be like, "Oh, I'll give you the world," like send
And
them
then
send
they do nothing. Yeah.
yeah, like get them flowers once, but that got me a date. She's like, and what she said, this is funny. She's like, I guess I owe you at least 1 date. I'm like, you owe me 3. And then fast forward, and here we are. I'm
She's
still
now your
dating her.
Hey,
girlfriend.
you know what? There's a
Yeah,
rom-com in there somewhere.
Totally.
there really is. There's a movie in Wingman of the Year for sure.
What your friends did is the equivalent of like, that plane that guys hire with the banner.
Right,
Hunter
Right.
is
No.
amazing.
right,
But that effort, like a lot of guys are like, what if she thinks I'm creepy? Well, hold on. I checked the scene first. I laid some groundwork before I did that. I made
right.
sure like, and she
Yeah.
actually kind of pursued me because I marketed myself. She knew of the brand, and she kept
Damn.
she kept hearting all my Instagram stories, and I was asking my sister. This was before I got a little more confidence and whatnot because it really started all taking off at once. So everybody work on yourself; it'll come back. I asked my sister. I'm like, do girls just usually just like random guys they've never met? There's like stories and whatnot. I'm like, I showed her, and she's like, super. I think she's the most beautiful freaking woman ever. I have her in my phone as Aphrodite, and
Oh.
yeah, and I'm like, she liked 5 stories in a row, and then it was New Year's Eve. I finally hit her up. I said, "What are you doing at 11:59 tonight?" She
Ah.
totally went over her head, but then we started talking. But then, like I said, I needed that wingman for that extra push, and that's it sounds crazy, but I did lay the groundwork and I had the platform, so it was already kind of known that like I do this stuff. And the great thing about my platform is you can either hate it like what I do or you can love it. But I know if you like it already. So it's like it sorts out the stuff for me. It sorts out the bad apples for me.
Hunter,
Mhm.
if guys just did even half of what you did, like they would just get so many more dates.
It's true.
Like,
It's true. But I always say this: you could ask 50% of the girls I've dated, and the other 50% will say another thing. There'll be some like, "Oh, he didn't
Yeah,
do that for
yeah,
yeah,
me."
yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm telling you, guys just know like when they want something. You got to have that killer instinct.
Yep. Yep.
But
So,
this is why it's so tricky, right? I think it's really hard. I mean, we speak in generalizations because we have to, but it's really
mhm.
hard to generalize when it comes to dating.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, everybody
yeah,
is a unique
right,
case,
exactly.
but
But you could start. There's stepping stones you could take. Like wear cologne, wear a watch. Like
Right.
get a.
right? Like
Well,
We
basic
every
shit.
Well, here, let me before I go, let me be a wingman. Everybody listening, watching at home, make sure you like and subscribe to I Hate Dating Apps podcast over here.
Yes,
there
thank
you
you so
It's
go.
that
much.
easy.
That easy.
Love
That's
it,
it.
love it. You got to come out and like go to a bar with me one of these days.
It'd probably be easy to do dating shows out there. I bet people are a
Oh
lot more
God,
welcome.
Oh
are you
yes.
kidding me
Upstate
right
New
now?
York, people are like, it's cold, not leave me alone. Like, so it'd probably be a lot easier out there.
All right, well,
This has been another episode of I Hate Dating Apps, and you can love with them.
can't live without him. Thank you for joining us.
I hate dating apps.
Hey, app daters and haters, tell us your dating app experience, and we just might bring you on as a guest for future episodes. Head to ihatedatingapps.com and click on the big yellow Tell Us Your Story button. You can't miss it. We've got a lot of fun content on our social channels, so please follow us at I Hate Dating Apps on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And on Instagram, we're at I Hate Dating Apps Pod. And don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast.